From Premier Lanes Entertainment Center in Gonzales, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you high school bowling. This afternoon, some of the top teams in the state converge in one location as we feature coverage of 4 matches simultaneously between schools from the New Orleans and Baton Rouge regions. And a pleasant good afternoon to you, Ken Trahan, joined by Lenny Van Gilder of CrescentCitySports.com. Matt Merritt, our esteemed producer, great crew with us today as well. And we feature some pretty good teams in South Louisiana bowling each other here today. Lenny, good to have you with us. This happens annually now, and it's been a nice tradition that's been established.
It is. It kind of, came about a couple of years ago, and I think it's kind of established itself as maybe the best day on the regular season calendar, because you get a chance to see not just a lot of good teams in one facility, but you really don't see a lot of teams leaving their region to bowl teams from another region during the regular season in high school bowling, and we get a chance to see that today. Let's kind of take you through the full schedule, because what you'll see is we've got 8 teams with a combined record of 43-6 facing off here. Ken, lanes 1 through 4 will be Archbishop Rummel against Santa Ma. Both teams at 5-1, and the new power rankings came out earlier today. Santa Ma at 17, Rummel at 18, so that gives you an idea just how important this is in terms of, when you got 2 teams that close in the rankings. Lanes 5 through 8, Brother Martin against Denham Springs. Of course, Brother Martin, the 6-time state champion. They've got a loss on their resume early this year against Jesuit. Denham Springs sitting there undefeated. They have not lost a regular season match going back to the year 2021. Lanes 9 through 12, Archbishop Shaw against Central. Shaw, very talented, maybe the deepest team in Louisiana, taking on a Central team that's very strong on the right-hand pair. And in the battle of unbeatens on lanes 13 through 16, it's Jesuit, one of 2 undefeateds left in the New Orleans region, against Dutchtown. And you get a chance to see, arguably the best junior bowler, the best high school bowler in Louisiana, Preston West of Dutchtown, who all he did, by the way, on Saturday, Ken.
850?
850 series. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I would struggle to shoot 850 for 4. He did it for 3.
So, I've done it for 4, no problem, man. Of course, that might have been 100 years ago, but that's another story. But it's great to be here nonetheless. We appreciate all who make it possible. Thanks to everyone here at Premier Lanes and Entertainment for hosting us as well. And again, when you look at power rankings, which we'll get into, it's really a little bit premature, but from the standpoint of where these teams are positioned, Central Lafourche right now on top of the state, but Jesuit, the highest of the teams here, in the 6th position presently. Denham Springs 9th and Archbishop Shaw 10th. But then you got Brother Martin 12 and Dutchtown 13 and Santa Ma 17 and Archbishop Rummel 18 to give you some perspective. You got a lot of good teams here. Central is currently 29. So every one of these teams would be playoff teams.
It's early right now. And not only were all of these teams playoff teams a year ago, every one of them won in the first round. So when you got down to the final 16, these were 8 of the 16. That was half of the field that was left at this point. And 8 teams you're looking at here today to give you an idea of just the quality of these programs. And they've all got skins on the wall in some shape or form.
The boys' championship last year was won by Brother Martin over Catholic in an absolute thriller, which we had on CrescentCitySports.com. Catholic not here today. Brother Martin is. Archbishop Shaw, a semifinal team a year ago, as Lenny mentioned. Very deep this year, and they're here as well. And of course, we'll be traversing these pairs of lanes to be able to give you broad-based coverage with some generic commentary as we try to show you as much as we possibly can. Won't focus on any one match that's going on. We try to provide the best coverage we can. Now, later on in the year, when we bring you head-on-head matchups here on Crescent City Sports, we'll focus on the one match. But today, our job is to try to show you as much as possible with some of these outstanding programs, so we'll do just that.
And look, these are big matches for these teams because they're bowling good teams. This is great for the crowd to be able to see as many good teams as they can under one roof, and it's pretty packed in here behind us at Premier Lanes in Gonzales, as you might expect. This is it's a sport that's, look, it's entertaining, it's fast moving. The matches are generally over in about 90 minutes, and but the other thing is, again, New Orleans won 3 of the 4 matches last year when they bowled at AMF All-Star Lanes in Kenner. Baton Rouge kind of took care of things a couple of years ago, at least the first go-round here at Premier, and there were some other matches later on. But that's power rankings, we talked about that. That matters a lot to this because, as we mentioned, outside of this, you're pretty much just playing the teams in your region. Well, if your area teams can pick up that extra win today, that helps a lot of schools' power rankings in the New Orleans area, for instance, or if it's Baton Rouge that's winning, it's going to help those schools in the Baton Rouge area as well. Let's take a look at the match format, Ken. If you're unfamiliar with high school bowling, it's a 27-point match. So you need 14 points to win. And how do you get to 27 points? You see it on there. You'll bowl with a 6-player lineup across 2 pairs of lanes. The 1, 2, and 3 bowlers on the left pair of lanes, the 4, 5, and 6 on the right pair of lanes. There's no baseball managerial strategy in terms of trying to set your lineup. This is all about what order your averages fall in. You pick the 6 bowlers you want, and the averages, the order they fall in is how you bowl. You bowl an individual 1-game match against your counterpart. That's worth a point. The team total is worth 2 points in the game, so that's a total of 8 points per game. That's 8, 8, 8. That's 24 points. The super total, as we call it, or the total pins for the entire match, is worth another 3 points. That's how you get to 27, and how we will determine winners here today. There will be a quiz on that later.
No, listen, I love the format. I think it's great when you have head-to-head matchups that determine points and total pins to determine the match, and often being the case. So I think it's a really good format. I enjoy it thoroughly, and I think the audience should too, because it's not about the score, it's about the matchup. You've got to win the individual matchup to be able to put yourself in position to get your team a point. So very fun watch when it comes to boys bowling in Louisiana. Since 2012, it's been dominated by the New Orleans region teams. There was the one exception when they bowled on a sport condition in a different facility one year where a New Orleans area team did not win it.
No, that was Vanderbilt Catholic was the last school not named Brother Martin to win the boys state championship.
Correct.
That was back in 2017. Brother Martin won in 18 and 19. Of course, we got through the entire regular season in 2020, and COVID wiped out the playoffs. And Brother Martin was going to be a strong contender that year off an undefeated season. And then, of course, Brother Martin winning in 21. And then you mentioned the match last year against Catholic, and last March over in Baton Rouge for the championship. What an unbelievable finish we saw there. And look, not just we've seen some great matches already this year, and it's had a chance to watch Brother Martin and Shaw last Monday, which was as tight a match as you will ever see. It was an 8-8 match separated by 1 pin after the first 2 games, and it ended up Brother Martin winning at 18-9, but it was much closer than the final score indicates, as often happens in the sport of bowling. It can be much closer than what maybe the score indicates just based on total pins.
The other program, other than Brother Martin from the New Orleans area to win state championships, is Archbishop Rommel, which won back-to-back years. Back in, 2012
and 13. And also Archbishop Shaw's got a title in 2009.
That was back in 2009.
Right.
So you look at those, they were the first ones from the New Orleans area to excel, and they've been really good in recent times as well. And Rummel's been very competitive. They were second just a couple of years ago in the state, losing in the title match to Brother Martin. So it's not just a one-team scenario in terms of excellence from the New Orleans area, though Brother Martin has clearly been the dominant side. And as mentioned, Jesuit got over the hump and got a head-to-head victory against Brother Martin already posted this season.
Right.
And realistically, I think that was big because it was as much mental as it was physical. They were always good enough to compete and have a chance to win, but couldn't get over the hump, and finally did, and that might go a long way. The Jesuit team's interesting because they don't have any one superior bowler that averages 210 or better. They're all 190s or so, but every one of them are consistent. So they give you the total pins, and they give you that lower pit significance too.
They are arguably the deepest team in the state. They've got Ethan Benoit at number 1, who's averaging 174. No one else has a 174 sitting at number 1. Right. Shaw threatens that. I mean, Alex Gaitan is at number 1 at 171, and everybody else in the Shaw lineup is above 190. Correct. Now, what's interesting, we talked about just staying in your region. Shaw and Jesuit do not bowl this year. It's just the way the draw of the schedule is. Usually there have been about 12, 13 teams in the New Orleans region. There are 19 this year, so you really can't get get a chance to play everybody. You see everybody getting in their, or hear it perhaps, getting in their final huddles, and we're getting set for action.
Ready to go. And mentioned Preston West earlier. He's the most significant player at 229 coming in. Ashton Catalanato is at 227 for Brother Martin, but also for Dutchtown, need to pay close eye on Ryan Beam, the senior. He's averaging 224. So they've got two hugely successful and outstanding bowlers on that team. Jacob Van Gilder at 218 for Brother Martin. Those would be the top 4 players in terms of average thus far this season that we have seen. So we're ready to go with these matchups, and we'll try to show you every bit of each match that we possibly can and give you some significant bullet points as we're underway here, both pits. And see a 10-pin right away as we get started. Get used to that with good hits. By and large, this is a pretty good condition house. Just doing the research in terms of scoring. We were here for a state championship a couple of years ago, which we brought to you. And typically speaking, this is a pretty good scoring house. And looking at the New Orleans area, they bowl in different bowling centers, from Bowling USA in Slidell, which is not a great scoring house, to West Side Bowl, which is not a great scoring house, Colonial Lanes, which is a pretty good scoring house, and AMF All-Star Lanes, which is a good scoring house. This would probably be more akin to AMF All-Star Lanes.
Yeah, I could see that, and certainly, you want to compare centers up here. We're down to 2 in the greater Baton Rouge area. This center in Gonzales, and of course All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge. Right. Everything else in the Baton Rouge area is closed, and of course you mentioned the 3 in the South Shore of New Orleans, along with Bowling USA Slidell. You've also got, in the region, although it ends up being a different region, Tangy Lanes and Hammond.
Got to point out an unbelievable leave on lane 10 right now for Central. This is like, you don't see this, okay?
Yeah, you see it on the right of your split screen there. A 3-4 split. That's different.
I'm not sure I've seen that, to be honest with you, and that's the second bowler for Central.
Christopher Guyon leaving that. That's tough
crazy.
leave there.
That's crazy. So Guyon's probably wondering, how do I shoot this? Well, just throw it one of the pins. That's all you can do in that situation. And, of course, you just saw a release, and you're going to see several, looking at the wide shots we have, of the two-handed bowlers. That's become the rage in this sport, whether you like it or love it or don't like it much at all. That's simply the nature of the game. And, boy, you get some widespread opinions on that.
Well, no doubt. And let me tell you, had a chance to be down in Houma for the annual Louisiana Grand Prix tournament, which is as good a tournament as there is on the junior bowling calendar in the state. The Louisiana Proprietors, their foundation, put on a terrific event. And the U18 boys, okay, which is basically what we're looking at right here, the high school age boys, okay, 8 finalists. You had 6 two-handers. And
that's
again, so there you go.
Not only the rage is starting to take over in terms of the better,
And by the
players.
way, they finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But and kudos to Riley Elwood, who is the anchor bowler from Archbishop Shaw. We'll get a look at him a little bit. He won that tournament, beat out Ashton Catalanato, the anchor for Brother Martin, in the final match. Great final match, 246-237 to win that tournament.
Of course, the New Orleans area teams are all the visiting teams in terms of scoreboard watching here today, and we'll give you some head-to-head matchups and what they're looking like here once we get through the second frame of things, to give you some perspective on things. And as we look at some of the matchups that are taking place, again, to the furthest side of the center right now with our coverage, it's Santa Ma against Archbishop Rummel. And then next to that, you've got Denham Springs and Brother Martin. And then on the right side of your screen, Central against Archbishop Shaw. And then on the far side, an intriguing matchup between Dutchtown and Jesuit. So those are the 4 matchups. And again, we'll set the table in terms of what's happening through 2 frames here in just a minute or 2, so you know exactly where we're at with who's doing well to this point in time. Based on what I'm looking at, watching practice, I'm expecting pretty good scores here.
Yeah, there's a great opportunity to score. I don't think there's any question about that. I mentioned that 850 by Preston West. That was in this house.
Well, there you go.
So that tells you.
He's pretty comfortable.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. He bowls here a lot. And, of course, he got his first 300 in varsity play back on Wednesday. And what happened, that was over at All-Star Lanes and in Baton Rouge. But he's got it. When I talked to Preston Wednesday night, I said, how many others do you have? Oh, about 15. I mean, he's a junior in high school. He just turned 16 years old, okay? And he's got 15 300 games.
That's
And
insane. I don't want to use the word pride, but I was thrilled to have 3 official ones and then have a 4th one that was real but didn't count because it was in a no-tap, even though I did it for real. So looking through 2 frames, just saw a 4-9 from Catalanato with Brother Martin for the first open frame, and a really good shot, I might add. And bowling's one of those sports where you can do the right thing and not get the right result. It's typically going to happen occasionally. As we glance down the board right now, and it looks like Archbishop Rummel's off to a pretty good start against Sandomal with a slight lead through 2 frames. Looking at the matchup between Denham Springs and Brother Martin. Brother Martin's off to a slight lead in that one after 2 frames of play. And then checking out Archbishop Shaw and Central right now. Central would have, Shaw would absolutely have the lead based on their high pair. Really striking. They've struck in all but 1 frame, 6 out of 7 strikes for Archbishop Shaw, make it 7 out of 8. They just struck again. So, and then we look at we'll try to give you an update on the Jesuit touchdown, which
we got that
up most intriguing.
Yeah, got that up on the screen here, and it's like Jesuit's got an early edge at 3, at 4. Dutchtown has the edge at 5 and at 6, and a big surprise. Preston West has started with 3 straight strikes. So
well,
we'll keep an eye on that. And if you haven't seen Preston bowl, we talked about 2-handers. He's a 2-handed left-hander. There's some of those out there.
Oh, there's a PBA Tour is loaded with those now. So
Jack Nunez up on lane 5 right now is a 2-handed left-hander who's a senior, first-year bowler for Brother Martin. See him on the left side of your screen there. Yeah. And look, he just started bowling in the fall, and he has made a vast improvement.
Now, speaking of the PBA, watching national telecast, not a huge fan of what they're doing with the lane conditions, with making the 2 lanes completely different
at times,
on the same pair.
At times,
doing it virtually all the time, requiring a different piece of equipment on each lane and a totally different line. I'm not sure what the goal is there. People watch because they want to see the best look like the best and score, and they're not giving them that opportunity. You're seeing guys win with 2-0 games and 2 team games on that level.
Yeah, it was very difficult at the U.S. Open
last
week. Now,
the
thing
Open.
I did not care too much for the 9-man step ladder. I would have rather
it at all.
I would have rather seen something else on Saturday to get maybe that last spot or that last 2 spots in there, but just not a 9. I mean, you're talking about if you're in 9th place. Don't get me wrong.
I like the 6 versus 5 personally.
Yeah.
So you have a bowl in for 2 guys for 1 spot. But the 9-man was too much. I mean, the guy that gets out of it, he was worn out. I mean, he threw 3 games and really wore him out. But then the conditions made it very, very difficult. I'm all for being challenged, but again, you always want to have a playable shot. And if people can execute it, then they're going to excel. And I just think they've gone a little bit too far with that aspect. The other thing about the business that I'm not a huge fan of, and we'll point that out today, is most of the players here you'll be seeing reactive resin. But some players that are real good on a high level are still going back to the old technology, to urethane. Of course, spear balls, they'll throw the old plastic or hard rubber balls at time, but from the standpoint of the strike ball, the technology has gone backwards to a degree at the highest level, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That's not the case with golf. That's not the case with tennis at all. The equipment continues to get better and better, and they keep using that equipment. So we're looking at Shaw's high pair, and they've got a 4-bagger and a 3-bagger in the 4 and 5 holes. So the Eagles off to a really good start in that regard. And Jesuit's got a triple in the 3-hole. Again, that's Jesuit's strength, is their low pair. They're going to outbowl most people with their 1, 2, and 3 bowlers. And great cover by Dutchtown.
Preston West has started with 4 in a row now.
Yeah, I saw that just now.
Check in on him in just a moment.
Yeah, and the reason that's significant is not only winning a match, but building up an enormous number of total pins.
Right, and look, that's the one thing is you compare the Dutchtown Jesuit match, and again, we're talking about 2 unbeatens, and as a result, that's probably the highest profile match we have to look at.
Yeah.
Dutchtown has a big edge at number 5 and number 6. But
right.
Jesuit has an edge at 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Correct.
And it gets pretty significant on that left-hand side.
Right.
So,
yeah, the job for Jesuit is to compete at 5 and 6, not to win necessarily, which they don't figure to with the numbers the way they are, but to compete. Dutchtown's job is to compete on a low pair. So we have a 4-bagger for the number 4 bowler at Archbishop Shaw right now to get things started, and that is Garrett Olello a senior. We have Jacob Van Gilder, who's got 4 in a row to start for Brother
Garrett.
Martin. As you mentioned, we have
see Garrett up on the right side of your screen now on lane 11.
Correct.
Getting ready to throw his shot. Actually just panned over, but Alelo with the front 4.
correct. Here is Alelo looking for a 5th. He's got a perfect shot.
I like Garrett's game a lot. He won it.
Very simple at the line.
Won a tournament down in home of the Bowl for Life tournament in October, and that was on a sports shot.
Right.
He handled it. And look, the thing is, when you those sports shots, that probably there's 2 schools of thought there. Sometimes you could just try to be so powerful that you're going to carry everything, but at other times you need to be an accurate shot maker, and that's what Garrett does. Garrett really keeps everything in play, doesn't cross a lot of boards like some of the other people you see.
Unbelievable leave on 13. Through the nose and a 4 count for Jesuit. That's severely penalized when you hit the head pin and get a 4 count. That's tough. I'd like to say it hasn't happened to me, but it has. There's a 2-hand, well done. Good stroke. Strike recorded by Archbishop Shaw.
Joshua Collins at number 3, and he's just a sophomore. This is a lineup that's got 2 sophomores, a junior, and 3 seniors.
Jacob Van Gilder with his familiar orange ball with a 5-bagger to start the game. It's like he lives with that ball by and large, doesn't he?
He pretty much does.
Yeah.
That's his favorite.
So we'll see if we can scan far left and check out Santa Maria and Archbishop Rommel too and see where you're at with that match. Not the highest scoring teams that are here, but pretty solid and consistent.
Looks pretty even across most of the way. It's like a bit of a struggle right now at number 6, though.
Nobody excelling. Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that as well.
Yeah, Matthew Fletcher at 6, having a hard time getting going, but not much going as well for Austin Kirby at 6 for
Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
Double wood spear for Central, always difficult.
Garrett Alelo with the front 6 now. We'll keep an eye on that on lanes 11 and 12 at the number 4 spot.
And of course we
look Preston West. Let's see if we can sneak over, get a look at him because he's about to be up on lane 15. On lane 15 next.
Just got up on the lane.
Over on lane 15.
Yep, getting ready.
With the front 5. So West up, the 2-handed left.
He's up now. Glasses and no wasted time.
There you see it. Oh, does the messenger get it? No,
7.
yeah, flat 7.
Yeah.
Didn't get quite the finish. So there goes one of our early strings, but I got a feeling Preston's not done stringing strikes today. Just saying.
Yeah, well, he was solid in the 1-2 there, so good stroke nonetheless. He's really dialed in here. You mentioned Alelo with the front 6 for Archbishop Shaw.
About to be up on lane 11.
Good spare for
Van Gilder coming up on 8. So
good spare for Shaw in the 5 spot too there with Jonathan Arena, who's been in the pocket.
Yeah.
Every frame, 9 counts and a 4-bagger. Well, he had a 7 in the first, but then a 4-bagger and a solid 10 he just picked up.
Not a good release there.
High and a 6 count, so that'll take care of our second.
Yeah, we
so
got
now
one.
The focus is Alelo.
One going.
And
Alelo
he's up right
on
now.
lane 11. You see him right there on the right side of your screen.
Good release. Oh my goodness. He lives a solid 9-pin.
Wow.
Can't make a better shot than that. Wow. He just turns around and kind of smiles, almost a grimace.
All you can do. But you see, we
can't
can
make
see
a better
Shaw
shot.
has built a huge lead on the right side in this match.
Yep.
I thought that's Shaw's edge is on the left side in this match, and they're doing well there. But really on the right side, a very big lead at this point. They're up by 60 in the number 4 slot. They're up by 30 in the number 5 slot.
Well, the Alelo's game is I really like it because it's very simple at the free throw line, at the foul line. I'm covering basketball
there
later.
You go. Well, it's the same, at the foul line. Right?
Very simplistic, very good release, simple release. Backswing's not high. He gets there relatively easily, and he puts the ball in play great. I'm really impressed with what I've seen from the Shaw 5-hole as well. Really impressive game.
And I'm a big believer that less is more, and that's in the 5-hole for Shaw. That's Arena.
Good-looking player. He's thrown the ball very well.
Right, and look, Elwood's a newcomer. They only lost one player off their team last year, and that was Jonathan Freeman, who was their 6-hole. Okay, he's the only one that's gone. Elwood transferred in and stepped right into the 6-hole. His game made a big jump in the last year, and he's moved into that slot now. Depending on what happens today, it might be Arena in the 6-hole. They're very close in average. Elwood 205, Arena 204. As we mentioned at the outset, the coaches don't dictate their lineups. It's based on average. All you do is pick your 6 bowlers, and the order of the lineup is dictated by average.
Well, interestingly enough, in this matchup between Denham Springs and Brother Martin, both of the highest average bowlers are struggling significantly. Everyone else bowling pretty well.
Catalanato has bowled as well as anybody in the state over the last
month. And Olelo just threw a gutter ball. So brag on him and found the channel.
That's one thing I noticed here is that especially people trying to go, play on the outside and maybe go up the boards a little bit. You start it right, and there's out of bounds. It may not recover. Another open frame in that number 6 match that you mentioned, the Brother Martin Denham Springs. And only 5 out on the recovery, so that's kind of changed that a little bit.
Yeah, really changed his game significantly. Just look, when you make a shot like that in the first shot, it can have a mental impact. I'd like to see a guy bounce back like that. Hopefully he can recover next frame and get back on track, because he had a really good game going there. Very impressive. Today's action on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Ford, the #1 Ford dealer in the Metro New Orleans market. Must be a reason.
Must be.
We'll get you caught up on the furthest left and furthest right matches.
I'll tell you what, there's a heck of a match going on at number 6 right now in the Dutchtown Jesuit match. And that's William Carpenter's the number 6 for Jesuit. And he's actually got an edge on Preston West right now, who missed that 7-pin. And Carpenter's going double spare 4-bagger to take the lead in that one right now. He is working on a potential 279, West on a potential 267. A very high-scoring match going on over on lanes 15 and 16. Catalanato continuing to struggle, but got a break right there for Brother Martin. Pin came off the wall, took out the 3-6 on a shot through the nose. It's the kind of thing that will get you going sometimes. You remember that. You're struggling a little bit, and all of a sudden you catch a break, and it can change things a little bit.
And a really solid job at Jesuit. Number 2 bowler, Preston Rourke, with a 4-bagger now. Again, they really are solid on their lower pair. Their lower pair bowlers are going to compete very well. They'll compete with some higher pair bowlers.
Getting back in the match there. He started that match open, and has come back with 4 in a row to kind of get back on a 190 pace there.
And a double for the Jesuit 3 bowler as well, and that is Jonathan Cho. So Blue Jays putting some strikes together, and as we expected, they're winning on that low pair. And then we look at the Sanama Archbishop Rummel match, trying to give you some heads up on that. It looks like Rummel's up in 2 out of 3 on the high pair.
Maybe 2 out of 3 on the low pair as well. Looks very competitive at number 3 at this point.
Yeah, no breakouts, no breakout scores in that match.
No, nobody. In fact, I don't see anyone even working on anything above 200 at this point. Everything's about 190. Yeah.
Right.
And look, the low side of that is going on lanes 1 and 2. You know, spend any time in bowling centers, you know that pairs next to the wall can tend to be low scoring. It's one of those things that happens out there in terms of how, you know.
Looks to me like Catalanato's got to get deeper on the lane. Everything's biting early and going nose or even left of pocket.
Perhaps make an equipment
that
change.
Could be just to get the ball down the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're two-handed and you're using as much in the way of revolution as he does, you're going to cover a lot of boards.
One of the things that Ashton is conscious of is ball speed. And if his speed gets a little soft, things have a tendency to jump on him a little bit. But it's appears to have his speed up right there.
And a 5-bagger now for Preston Rourke of Jesuit.
He's pulled that match even.
And Alelo comes back with a strike. That's a good thing to see.
Yeah, the game one's about to finish there. He's going to easily win, but he needs, yeah, you're right, the opportunity to get back on track here with a chance to strike out for 244. They're going to shoot some big scores on the bottom side here.
They will, and Central's 5-hole bowler, Seth Smith, is working on a 4-bagger right now.
Could finish with 248, but Arena can finish with 269.
Right, that's a... Arena's in great shape. Alelo finishing up well there too. He'll end up in the 230s.
Looks like, yeah. So the Shaw Central match on 9 through 12 is going to be the first one to finish game one here, especially on 11 and 12. So we'll take a look at what's going on there.
And Shaw's got a chance to sweep the high pair there. And
they're in very good shape at this point.
And on the low pair, Shaw is in good shape as well. The Eagles are ahead in all 3 matches right now. So it's a really good look for Archbishop Shaw. 232 game for Alelo. So well done by Garrett Alelo for Archbishop Shaw, 232.
Shaw's going to threaten their high game of the year. They shot 1267, their high series of the year. They've actually got the highest series in the state this year, 37-16. They shot that a couple of Thursdays ago against Archbishop Rummel. And I'm going to tell you, they got a chance of putting up a big number here in game one because they're they're hanging in on the left side, going to be close to 600 on the left side. They're going to shoot.
It's a good match at number 5 there.
Yeah.
And that's through the nose, and that's going to give Central a chance there.
As we look at lane 11 right now, let's take a look at that because Seth Smith has a chance now to close this out with a strike right here.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
He ended up with an 8 count.
Yeah.
So let's look at pin count now.
Yeah, well, Arena needs to make the spare
Needs to make the spare, yeah.
This is a big spare conversion, and
Correct.
he got it, and that's going to win the match.
Well, if he stays beyond the foul line. I want to say free throw line again. If he stays beyond the foul line, so you got to figure that Smith's going to make the spare here. He's got to make put a 6 count up on the board.
That'd be 236.
Correct.
And Arena will just need to
and a
stay
4-7. He's got that 236 game really well done for Seth Smith of Central Wildcats. And stayed behind the line. He'll win the game.
Yep.
Well done. Left the 10 pin. That's a really good 244 game, and he was solid from start to finish. 2 pocket hits, 10 out of 11 shots in the pocket. Really well done by Jonathan Arena to shoot 244.
And you see on the right side there, you're looking at Chuck Rawls from Central, who's really bowled well in the last few months. Started the prep season, first match of the year with a 289, hit the first 10 strikes in the first match of the year.
Riley Elwood in good shape to put that match away.
No, Rawls not his best.
Pretty much
done. Strike
yep.
out for 192.
7 count. That's going to still put him in the 200, so he can't lose that match.
Right. A spare and a strike would be 212 for Elwood.
Correct. He's going to be in the high 190s if he opened, and that's enough. He wins. So Shaw sweeps the high pair in their match with Central.
Position to do the same on a low pair, which would be an 8-0 lead.
Yeah, that's tough to come back from. I like to watch spare shooting like that. Good job. And a good spare there by Riley Elwood. So he's going to end up in the 2 teams. That's a very good high pair series there for Shaw. That first game, they threatened 700.
Oh, they're
going to shoot the high 680s.
Yeah, they're just going to miss. So
they're going to shoot in the high 680s. Yep.
So there'll be a little bit of a break on 11 and 12 because they're 2 frames behind on 9 and 10 right now. And both pairs have to finish before you start again.
Elwood shoots 209 with a 7 count.
So let's focus on the finish on what's going on 13 through 16 right now.
That would be Jesuit Dutchtown.
Let's see.
High pairs will typically finish faster than low pairs because of strikes.
Although, ironically, it looks like it's going to not play out that way here in the Brother Martin Denham Springs match to our left.
Yep.
Brother Martin's going to win 2 out of 3 on the low pair. Some solid shooting there. They're going to shoot close to 550 on the left side. And you couple that with some good scores on the right side. Kate Chatelaine finishing up on 7 and 8 with a 216 at number 4.
Good job. Well done, Chatelaine, Brother Martin.
He was at number 1 a year ago against this Brother Martin team, won a state championship. Their 1, 2, 3 returned. Their 4, 5, 6 were seniors, so their 1, 2, 3 has now become their 4, 5, 6. The order changed a little bit. Just Catalanato's gotten off to a great start this season and has moved into the 6th spot.
$8-10.
And I can only imagine what is going through Jacob's mind right now.
Yeah, and just to explain that, that's a good location, but not much at the finish.
It just didn't hit. And backstory: 2 years ago, Jacob was bowling against Preston West in the finals of a tournament in Homa.
Yeah,
needed to fill 19 pins in the 10th frame to win. Got up and threw the first shot in the pocket and left the 8-10.
Memories.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be much concerned about that. Location was good. And he struck well, very well in that game. Just didn't really throw his best shot there. Just location was good. And typically you'll hope to get out of that with like a flat 10 pin and have a good spear to shoot at, but didn't have that luck. And let's see where we're at now with Dutchtown Jesuit to get some perspective on that.
So Dutchtown is going to, or Jesuit is going to win it 1. They're going to win it 2, and they're going to win it 3. So they're going to sweep the left side.
Which is what we
That's what we surmised would happen. They were that was certainly an edge there. And on the right side, Jesuit wins at 4, Dutchtown wins at 5, and West comes back to beat Carpenter at 6. So it's exactly as we thought. Dutchtown had the edge at 5 and 6. Jesuit had the edge at 1,
Jesuit in matches, total pins.
We're gonna have to take a look there if that is now. Jesuit should have it to have a 6-2 lead here.
I would imagine based upon the fact that they competed pretty well at the bottom.
So Dutchtown shoots 632 on the right pair. Jesuit shoots 628. So that's basically a wash on that side.
No question.
And so Jesuit
won the low side.
Right. So this should be
6-2
Jesuit lead.
All right. So with that, we'll focus on Sanoma and Rummel as that one's coming to a close as we speak. Got a triple for Rummel in the 3 spot right now. So you got some action going on there. In the 3 spot for Rummel, that is Devin Shira. And I'm looking at those scores right now. Rummel won 2 of 3 on the high pair. See if we can get the low pair here. Figure that one out. Trying to do my scan job.
Let's see here if we can get a look at the scores. Yeah,
Sanoma won at 1.
Yes, and handily at that.
And Rummel won at 2.
And Rummel is going to win at 3.
So
yeah,
with a 4-2 Rummel in terms of matches. But in terms of total pins.
Yeah, let's see here. Rummel won the high side by, looks like 49 pins. They lost that top match by 64. So that gives Sanoma on edge. So 11. This is going to be very tight in terms of total.
Very tight. You got what looks like an open frame there for Rummel at this 3 spot. So
and that might, and you know what? That might have. Let's check what the totals are here. So Sanoma wins the low side by 46, and Rummel wins the high side by 49, I believe. So we're going to have to confirm that, but that's tight.
That would be a Rummel win.
Yeah, that would be 5-3 Rummel if that's the case. We will confirm that.
5-3 or 6-2?
Rummel won 2 of 3 and 2 of 3. You're right. So it would be 6-2.
If that's correct. If not, it would be 4-4, which a total pin swings everything.
Yeah, it does. That can happen in these matches just as we saw that a year ago in the finals. We saw some 4-4. Let me jump off, double check on that.
Okay, you got it. So we continue with our coverage live from Premier Lanes and Entertainment in Gonzales. I'm Ken Trahan, along with Lenny Van Gilder. We're glad you've joined us for this coverage of the Baton Rouge area versus the New Orleans area in high school bowling. And of course, we've been blessed to bring you the state championship matches in bowling for the last few years with our coverage at CrescentCitySports.com. And we truly appreciate all the nice response that we get from people thanking us for the attention we pay to this sport, which we love and partake in ourselves and have throughout the course of our lifetimes. And once again, I want to thank our friends here and Rick Bourgeois and his entire team at Premier Lanes and Entertainment for allowing us to be here today to bring this to you.
Yep.
And very much appreciate that. And we'll get the verdict from Lenny as we check out Archbishop Shaw and Central. I think Shaw may have swept here.
Looks
Lenny.
like it. Looks like Shaw is up 8-0. So the New Orleans schools are all going to lead after game one.
So was that correct? 3 pins on the
3 pins, and
right.
it's 6-2.
So that's anybody's match. 3-pin match after one game. Rummel gets a 6-2 lead, but up by only 3 pins. So that changes. All right, there's a good two-handed, left-handed strike for Brother Martin in the 3 spot.
Yeah, it's Jack Nunez. We were talking about him, one of the senior.
Good release.
As a guy, look, you've seen that.
The peanut gallery offering
Yes.
some comments here.
Yes.
And by the way, I also want to mention that too. Really appreciate those that are devoted to the sport and love it and really help from the coaching end at this level. And we have just a great amount of appreciation for the Vidros family and what they've done for so many years now at Archbishop Shaw.
And look, they were the first ones
to
do anything at the high school level. And of course,
Gerald is a great guy, bowled with him, and Denise does a great job. Todd Bourgeois, a really good guy, loves the game, a good bowler himself, and is dedicated to it, has really done a great job. At Jesuit, Bruce Himbert and Dorothy Himbert with the jobs that they do at Brother Martin. And
Dorothy now coaching at Chappelle.
Archbishop Chappelle.
Yeah, look, Chappelle and Chappelle will be up here in a couple of weeks to bowl Dutchtown, and that may be the 2 best teams in Louisiana on the girls' side.
Right.
Dutchtown is loaded. We've seen what Brother Martin has done in singles the last couple of years in terms of, playing it right with the lineups and getting 9 people eligible for singles. Dutchtown's got a chance, if they played it right, to get 10 people eligible in singles.
No doubt. Brother Martin off to a good start here in game 2. Not unexpectedly, but so far the story is Archbishop Shaw, as the Eagles have dominated with an 8-0 victory in game 1 of their matchup against Central. That's tough to overcome, and they also built a pretty good margin in terms of pins too.
78 and 102, so they're up 180 in total right now.
That's going to be tough.
And they shot 12-11 without a 200 game on the left side. So
Very
they shot 685 on the right side, 526 on the left side.
Consistent and tough. As mentioned, the depth of the lineups for Archbishop Shaw and Jesuit pretty good.
And now you see the scores updated at the bottom of your screen there. Rummel up 6-2 on Santa Ma. Brother Martin up 7-1 on Denham Springs. And those are the lane assignments you see next to him. So as we're moving around and you want to see who's who, lanes 1 to 4 is Rummel against Santa Ma. Lanes 5 through 8, Brother Martin, Denham Springs. Then on the right side of your screen, you're seeing coverage of lanes 9 through 12, Shaw against Central, and lanes 13 through 16, Jesuit against Dutchtown.
Beautiful release and a really good shot here as we watch a couple of doubles right out of the box here for Denham Springs in game 2 in the 4 and 6 spots for Denham Springs, which would be Quincy Brown at 4 and Grant Pendergraft at 6.
Yeah, Brown a little bit wide there, and it's miss wide and just not get much of a reaction sometimes. Good start in a 1 spot for Brother Martin in this game. Bo Buffkin won his first game. That was the scores that we saw on the left side for Brother Martin. If they can continue to get that, this is a team. We mentioned their right side might be as good as anyone in the state. So if they, continue to see the improvement on the left side, that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Bruce Himbert.
Right. Rummel's done well in bowling, and when they excelled, Matt Kerr, who's now in senior administration at the school, with Brian Bodenheimer, really got that program on a great trajectory and Of course, you have to have good bowlers too, but they coached them up and they got better. And that's what we see with the programs that do well is they get kids who won't like the game and they might have some ability, but they get better because they work out and they have good coaching.
And the thing that can happen, okay, especially at this age, is you can see some gigantic improvement in a hurry. And you think, what happened? You don't see that in other sports, but you can. This is a sport that is, especially if you stick with it and work at it, you can make some enormous improvement in a hurry.
Speaking of Kerr, a double for Blake Kerr for Rummel to start his game for the Raiders. Game 2 with their slim total pin lead, but a 6-2 edge over Sandoval. Scanning our way over, I believe West started off with a double. So we'll double check that for you for Dutchtown.
Let's see here. This is you got to wait for him to change here as we look at the computer screen. Yeah, in fact, the whole right side is starting.
Right side starts with the double for Dutchtown.
They know they've got some work to do there. So.
And they're starting to do that work. Very good fashion.
Yeah, and a double. They had a double at 1 and a 2 as well. So 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6 with Evan Navarro at 1, Dylan Wynn at 2. And then, of course, on the high pair, Braden Torres, Ryan Beam, and Preston West.
Yeah.
Now, all with doubles.
Beam, you might remember a year ago, we were covering the bi-regional at AMF All-Star Lanes in Kenner. First match out of the box, Ryan Beam started with a spare and then threw 23 straight strikes to set a state record for a 2-game series with 590. In fact, Dutchtown threatened that day in the first round to break Brother Martin's state record for a 3-game team series. Missed it by 10 pins. Brother Martin's record is 4,012 and Dutchtown shot 4,002.
That's pretty good bowling.
Yep.
And a 4-bagger out of the box for Brother Martin in the 1 spot for Bo Buffkin. And they kind of need it over there because you got a triple and a double against them for Denham Springs in the 2 and 3 spots, which would be Cooper Bush and Anthony Ike. Off to a good start for Sandoval in game 2.
Looking over at this Shaw Central match, Jonathan Arena with a double. Of course, we mentioned he shot 244 the first game. So Andrew Hill with a strike at number 2.
Yeah, I like
Andrew
him.
Hill
I
is not,
like him.
Andrew Hill is not a 2-hole bowler. Okay,
no,
but
I
that
like
is,
him. I just
again, that is the nature of, we're only at the midway point of the
right.
season. Could some things change between now and the time we see these teams in the postseason? I would expect that to be the case, and that would be a guy who you could certainly see move back to the right side of the lineup. He was number 5 a year ago. In
right.
fact, it was an interesting story with Hill. He was number 5, came down with the flu the night before the regional matches up in Bossier City, so they could not use him, and as a result had to not shuffle the lineup, but slid everybody back down a spot. But yet Shaw got out of there and advanced to the semifinals, so Hill got to come back for the Final Four. But when the way the format is, and in fact, let's take a look at the dates, because we're a month away from Selection Monday on the boys and girls side. You see, the brackets will be announced exactly a month from today, Monday, March 13th. We'll have the early rounds the week of March 20th. The boys' early rounds split between 2 days and 2 sites, Creole Lanes in Houma, and then AMF All-Star Lanes in Kenner on the 20th, 21st. The girls' early rounds will be at All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge on the 22nd. And then you see March 30th, we all come back here to Gonzales for the team semis and finals, and then move to Baton Rouge for the 31st for the singles finals, which will be new this year. The
team finals here in Gonzales,
and then the singles finals in Baton Rouge. But what's interesting is for the first time this year in singles, instead of just a 4-game, what bowling parlance is, just a sweeper, there is going to be a modified stepladder final on both the boys and girls sides. They'll take the top 6 on both sides. 6, 5, and 4 will bowl. And then the advancer will bowl against 3 and 2, and then the survivor of that will bowl number 1 for the finals.
We just had the leave of a lifetime that almost happened. On lane 12, we had the 1-7-8 standing up.
Oh, wow.
The 1 fell at the last moment to leave the 7-8 split. I would never have ever seen the 178. Never. And that is Archbishop Shaw bowler. And in fact, that's their 6-hole bowler, right? And he made it, of course.
Made it. There you go. There you go. Riley Elwood with a big conversion that keeps the lead right there.
Correct,
over Chuck Rawls.
No, you got a break. You got the 1-pin fell in the last second.
Yeah, Rawls with a stone 9-pin, a bad break right
really
there.
Good shot.
He was the #1 seed in that tournament at Homa and won one match, lost 2. So in fact, the one match that he did win, he got up and threw 3 strikes in the 10th frame to win by 1 pin.
And let's see, Preston West has struck twice and spared twice for Dutchtown through 4 frames. His opponent, though, has an open frame, so West with a 22-pin lead, it looks like.
Yeah.
As he bowls against Carpenter of Jesuit.
Yeah, and at number 5, that's William Adams of Jesuit. Started with an open, but has 3 in a row. And then at number 4 for Dutchtown, Braden Torres.
Got the front 5.
Has the front 5. So
really good start for Dutchtown there in game 2.
Yeah. Over on the left side, Cage Chatelaine, you see, come up on lane 7 in just a moment here, about to come up. He started this game with a strike and a 4-bagger. And his game, we talked about his game a lot last year. Very simple. Keeps it in play. Gets another one right there for 5 in a row. Over on the low pair. That's Bo Buffkin started with 4 in a row, a spare, and now a strike. So. Brother Mark continuing to string some strikes on the high pair. We mentioned the scores that they shot earlier.
Good job in the 5 spot for Rummel by Blake Carey through a triple, and he's had 2 pocket hits for 9 counts and spares. So well done by Kerr as he's established a 20-pin lead in his matchup. Again, Rummel won the first game by 3 pins and they have a 6-2 lead after 1.
Tightest of the matches right now.
Today's action on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. For upcoming news on this year's city tournament, check the website at gnousbc.org or their Facebook page. Come out, support your local association, and have fun doing it. It's gnousbc.org.
Didn't know there was going to be spelling today, did you? We've
No.
given you math. We've given you spelling. I'm sure we could get into some science talking about oiling patterns and topography and what else can we cover here in terms of we get a little bit of English. Bowling has its own language. So
We're in the geography. We're on what we know as airline highway, right?
That's it.
It extends this far.
Yep. All the way into Baton Rouge. In fact, both
And by the way, the Premier Lanes and Entertainment Center is just that. It's bowling and it's entertainment, a huge game room for people to enjoy themselves with a plethora of games.
And oh, by the way, theater right next door. It's
Yes,
all part
indeed.
of it as well.
It's all connected.
All encompassing. And look, a lot of that is the future of bowling too. You've got to make it a complete experience.
6 in a row now. Really impressive.
Chatelaine
for
throwing
Cage
the ball well.
Chatelaine. Just real simple release at the line and got the wall shot, carried it nicely with good roll, good projection. I like to say projection, the way he's projecting the ball in terms of the angle he's using and letting the lane conditions do the work with not tremendous speed. And there's a strike. That would be Van Gilder going for 4 in a row. Left the 10-pin earlier and which he missed.
So he's thrown 17 shots and has thrown 14 strikes.
Yeah, he's wired. Again, we said the conditions were good to score, and we're seeing that. If you make the shot, you're going to get good results. A double up for Jesuit in the 6th spot for Carpenter.
Now 6 in a row, by the way, at number 4 for Dutchtown.
Wow.
That's Braden Torres.
We're going to have to keep a close eye on that and maybe focus on it soon. So
he'll be coming up next on 15 as
Braden
Carpenter
Torres
is now up on 15.
Braden Torres, a 181 average bowler, really getting it done right now and really helping the Griffins, giving them the opportunity. So we're going to focus obviously, and see what Torres can do in the 7th frame as we slide it over. Not up yet. He's got a couple of bowlers behind him.
We've got to wait for Carpenter to bowl on lane 15 first, and he will follow Carpenter.
So Brother Martin high pair is roaring at this point. This looks like Brother Martin of last year or the year before, with the way they're scoring right now. I mean, just locked in at the 4, 5, and 6 with Cade Chatelaine, Jacob Van Gilder, and Ashton Catalanato. Good to see Catalanato find his game. He really scuffled. Have you seen what he's done here in the 2nd game?
I did not see if he made a ball change or just some kind of
I think he got a little
adjustment.
deeper.
Yeah,
I mean,
a line change.
But I'm going to watch more carefully to see that. And, of course, he's got a coach that certainly is helping him significantly in that regard. Spot things.
Ashton is a terrific student of the game. He's a sponge, takes it all in.
Perfect shot here.
7 in a row for Chatelaine.
7 straight for Chatelaine. Brother Martin. Really impressive. I'm not sure if they have a breakdown down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Of
Nothing's
course,
happening on that pair.
Well, they were slowing down.
Nothing's happened on that pair where we're watching Dutchtown and Jesuit to see what happens. As we told you, through 6 frames of that match, the number 4 bowler for Dutchtown, Braden Torres, has a 6-bagger. Perfect, but they're not bowling at the moment, so apparently something mechanically wrong that's making us wait. Van Gilder swishes a 10. Good shot.
Messenger came across, just missed it.
See if he can make the correction and cover this. He wasn't able to do a little bit earlier. Stops that string of strikes for Brother Martin.
Yeah.
They had an incredible string.
10 and 10 in a row on the right-hand pair there. Some good games going right there on the right side. A chance to shoot at least 700, if not more.
Yeah, when you're the opponent, you see a team throw 10 in a row at you. It's kind of
it's demoralizing. It really
kind of
is
intimidating.
Look, you always say with bowling there is no defense, but but at the same time, that's the mental part of the game is part of it as well.
So Van Gilder covers, switches balls, and he gets a hard shell that, even though he's a little inside of target, because of the correct change of balls, he makes the spare.
All right, now Carpenter will be up on 15 to be followed by Torres. So we'll get a look there over at 15 and 16 if we can on our right side camera.
There's a nice strike
Carpenter
for the Blue Jays.
Strikeout.
So now we'll get Torres coming up first. You're going to get West with that 2-hand left-hand delivery.
There you go. You got to look at Preston there and see what he can do. And
wiped out the rack.
That's a lot of power, okay?
Wiped out the rack there.
I mean, you could see what he does. That is a lot of power. The Chatelaine string is over, but he converts to spare, so he can still finish with 249. Now you see Torres up on lane 15.
Torres is up on 15, right?
There you go. Yep.
So this is 6 in a row. Braden Torres to start his 2nd game for the Dutchtown Griffins.
Got 7.
7 in a row.
And you can hear
well
the crowd
done.
getting into it there.
And really getting his team a bunch of pins when they need them.
I got a big lead there at 4 right now. And part of what you got to do here is help close that deficit.
That figured to be, at least from my perspective, the best match of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Dutchtown Jesuit. That's the one.
Dutchtown Jesuit, Rummel St. Amant was going to be close.
Match.
Yeah, those,
Dutchtown Jesuit higher scores overall as compared to Rummel St. Amant, but still good matchups on both.
Shaw probably had the biggest edge coming in their match over Central. Brother Martin Denham Springs has, well, it's turning into a little bit of a Brother Martin. I want to say completely a Brother Martin route at this point because Denham Springs is going to win at 2 and 3
so
here.
So Catalanato did make a ball change. I just watched him, and he got a break for a 5 in a row.
Right.
Carried one.
Yeah, but this is going to end up being probably, as they get to the 10th frame over here, it's probably looking like a 6-2 Brother Martin win, which will make it 13-3.
So we want to make sure that we focus on Torres because that's the story right now. He's got 7 in a row to start the game for Dutchtown. at game number
Yeah,
2.
he'll be up on lane 16 in a moment.
And that will be Braden Torres of the Dutchtown Griffins. So we'll certainly focus
after
on him.
Yeah, Carpenter's up on 16 for Jesuit.
Working
Their
on
number
a 3-bagger.
Yep. So West already has 3 in a row in his side. Carpenter through the face there, leaves a 6-10.
So you open the door for West, and you're probably going to pay the price. He's that good. Pounds the pocket on a consistent basis. Does West.
And his carry rate is obviously going to be very high with the power that he generates.
That was a strike for Jesuit, I believe, in the 4 spot, which I think may be a triple.
It's a double. So.
Double.
Here we go on 16.
All right. Opportunity here for Torres, looking for 8 in a row. He's got it.
Wow.
Slapped out the 10 pin. He's got 8 in a row to start the game. Braden Torres of Dutchtown, getting everyone very excited here.
Yep.
And we're looking at the low pair over there at that match, because the high pair, Dutchtown faring very well. And on the low pair, Dutchtown's winning at 2. Jesuit's winning at 3. And one looks like Dutchtown's up there too.
Yeah. So a
Dutchtown's
chance
really
to make some ground here, and this could be
yeah.
be tight going down to the wire.
It could be a very even Steven deal after game 2, the way that one's unfolding right now. You're going to get a 260 plus game here out of the 4 spot for Brother Martin, Cade Chatelaine. Strike here for 269. What a game.
That's over on lane 7. And how about a 248 game for Bo Buffkin at number 1?
The number 1 spot. Boy, you get a 248 out of your 1 hole. Look out. That's fantastic. It's a good game for anybody anywhere. I mean, real good game. But when you get it out of the 1 spot, which ostensibly is your lowest average bowler, then you understand. And there it is. Perfect shot. 269 game for Cade Chatelaine. Very impressive. And fun to watch. Preston West, surprise, surprise, as 4 in a row is Dutchtown really turning it on in this game.
Yeah.
Jesuit, the steady team. Dutchtown, the big score team, would be the best way to describe that matchup. That's a 4-bagger for Jesuit at the 3 spot, which they need. It's Jonathan Cho.
Cho was outstanding the other day. Opened on the left side and opened his match 260, 230 the first 2 games.
Lello slaps a 10 pin for Shaw. Good looking shot, just didn't get it. And in the 5 hole for Central, really good bowling going on this game as well. That's Seth Smith again.
Yeah. He's going to get a win there. Pretty much got that one wrapped up.
Now Cho,
all right, so yeah, we've
Cho
got
looking
a miss
for 5 here.
We got a miss down there in the 9th frame.
Oh, wow.
Trying to see what was left standing.
Cho gets the 5-bagger. What did he leave?
Looks like, is that an 8-pin or a 7-pin?
I can't tell.
Yeah. But in any case, the string is over at 8.
8 in a row with a 9 count. Tough to swallow when you get that deep into the game. I was a strike for Van Gilder to shoot 226, another solid game. I was not a great bowler. At my best, I was pretty good. But what happened with me, and it was really strange, is that, and I don't know, I take no credit for it. You got to be good and you got to be lucky. But every time I had a chance to bowl 300, I did. The only times I ever got to the 10th frame with a chance to bowl 300, I did. I never once got there and didn't do it. I was fortunate. And by the way, out of the 4, I got 1 real break in the 10th frame. I threw 1 shot that wasn't good at all, and I got a real break, almost a cave-in shot, and got a break. And when that happens, look out. As we continue to
so the Brother Martin Denham Springs match winding down here. Denham wins 2 out of 3 on the right pair, although it's pretty much a push in terms of score. Brother Martin up 12, but look at the left on the right-hand pair. Brother Martin can shoot 764.
Unreal. Fantastic game.
This is going to go.
Calenato's high.
Yeah.
Crossed over. And he made the ball switch, and he's had a big game.
Yeah. 258 with a spare. Brother Martin's going to shoot 1,300 this game, which is the first 1,300 game we've seen in the state this year. Now, with the numbers Dutchtown's putting up down there, they might threaten that as well.
This will be a 6-2 game for Brother Martin, which puts them up.
13-3.
13-3. Missed the spare 257 game nonetheless. Jesuit needs to make up some ground.
They lose at
You lose 2 out of 3 on the low pair.
2, win at 3. 221 game at number 3 for Jonathan Cho there.
And they're going to lose at 6. 5. Jesuit could have.
They're going to lose at 4, obviously. With the
lose at 4, and they might win at 5. So that'll be a 6-2 game Dutchtown.
Could be. It could be 7-1.
Well, again, it depends on 5.
Depends on 5.
And Jesuit's got a slight edge there, I think. You can check it out. As my eyes are not serving me correct.
That's very close. I think it's a 13-pin match. So.
No, that's close, but not very close.
Right.
Very close is within 10.
But Jesuit is on a strike, so that's a big difference right there.
Right. So that's important for Jesuit to win that game, Adams, to make it a 6-2 game.
And a chance to finish with 279 right now for Torres. It's Adams against Beam at 5.
That looked like a good shot delivered there. I believe he struck in the 5 spot for Jesuit, I want to say. It's based on that shot that I just saw.
Seth Smith on lane 12 right now with a chance to strike on the fill to shoot 278. Just some really good scoring going on the higher end of the house right now. And we say high end, okay? We talk, of course, numbers of lanes here, but the really high end of the house down here, there's 20 lanes in the main portion here. Is Smith, that's not Smith, I'm sorry, he's up now on lane 12. And gets the messenger to take out the 10 for a 278.
What a game. He's had a terrific day.
And behind the wall to our right is the VIP side or the boutique side of the house. That is where they will bowl the finals.
Right, we did that 2 years ago.
Yep, and we'll be back there again this year. They'll bowl the semifinals on this side, finals on the other side.
I believe William Adams doubled and then has an 8 count, which would give him the win for Jesuit. In the
no, it's 222. Beam is going to win. He struck on his shot. He's going to shoot 227. So that's.
Well, if he's got 227, he wins. That's a 7-1 game.
Yeah, and that would then be 9-7 Dutchtown. We're gonna go confirm some scores right here before we get set to start game 3.
Oh, good. So again, you're watching coverage of the New Orleans area versus the Baton Rouge area in prep bowling. Live from Premier Lanes and Entertainment in Gonzales. Ken Trahan, Lenny Van Gilder, bringing you that action. And we're very privileged to do so and thankful to be able to have the opportunity to bring it to you. Watching these 4 matches unfold as we speak. And New Orleans schools overall with the slight edge in this one. And, of course, the third game could very well determine at least 2 of these matches, the Dutchtown Jesuit match and the Archbishop Rummel match with Sangamon. We'll get you the totals of that one coming up as well from game 2 after Rummel took game 1 by a mere 3 pins. Bud had a 6-2 edge in the process on the basis of the match wins for the Raiders in that particular matchup. So we continue to do that. We'll have a story up later this evening on basketball for you. The girls pairings are now out for the playoffs, and then also tonight we expect to have full coverage of the game between Ponchatoula and Newman in boys basketball, which we'll cover and have that for you later on this evening on the website as well. So we're looking at the matchup right now between Central and Shaw. Central really performed well on the high pair. Central wins 2 of the 3 matches on the high pair. On the low pair, Shaw sweeps though. So that'll be a Shaw victory. 4-2 in the matches and in the total pins. Looking at that right now, Shaw's going to win that easily. So it'll be a 6-2 win for Archbishop Shaw in game 2, which will put them up 14-2, and that would give them the win in the match. 14 points get you the win. So Shaw will have 14. That will automatically clinch a victory despite another game still to go. So the Eagles flying high, as they did this past weekend in Bossier City, winning the Division III state championship in wrestling. First state championship in wrestling in Archbishop Shaw history. I was there to cover it. You can read the story at CrescentCitySports.com. Speaking of wrestling, of course, Jesuit won the Division I state championship. Very impressive performance by the Blue Jays to do that, and they edged Catholic High of Baton Rouge in a thriller with Brother Martin a close third. And it was good to be in Bossier City to cover that state wrestling championship, as of course we provide full coverage of high school sports all the time here at CrescentCitySports.com. Matt Merritt producing here today. And again, we look forward to being back here for the state championships, as Lenny mentioned, in the very near future, here 2 years ago, and really appreciate the folks and how well they treat us and allow us to bring this to you. And again, this is a sport that we devote coverage to, and we feel it's important when others necessarily do not so much, but happy to be able to do so. It's a stone 8-pin. Boy, that's a really good shot and a really bad break right out of the box for Jesuit at the 2 spot with Preston. Rourke can't make a better shot than that. Stone and 8-pin. I mean, there's nothing you can do about 8 pins for a right-handed bowler or 9 pins for a left-handed bowler when you do it that well. So Archbishop Shaw has clinched, by my math, 14-2.
You are correct. Okay, so the 2 matches that are really the ones in doubt at this point are the ones on the far end. Rummel is up 9-7 over Sandoval, but Sandoval has the lead in total pins.
So
it's a 2-pin match.
Oh, my.
That's it. So basically what you're talking about is whoever wins total pins is going to win.
Absolutely.
That's when you get a close match in score and a close match in total pins. That's basically what it comes down to. On the high end of the house, Dutchtown with a 9-7 lead over Jesuit. Dutchtown has the lead, has flipped the lead in total pins, and they lead it by 44 going into the last game.
They certainly have the momentum.
Yeah, no doubt.
As we said before, they're the big score team. Jesuit's the more steady type of team, and we'll see what prevails.
Yeah, the other two, Shaw's in hand at 14-2. Brother Martin is virtually in hand at 13-3.
13-3 and a big edge in total pins. So, I mean, with the edge in total pins Brother Martin has, they're not going to lose that match. So Shaw and Brother Martin are going to win here today.
Now it becomes a matter of what happens.
Real fight.
Yeah, those are.
So that's where you find yourself in terms of these matchups from the New Orleans area perspective and from the Baton Rouge perspective. Good stuff.
And we're gonna focus
for Dutchtown and Sandoval coming on.
Yeah, we're gonna focus on those other 2 matches primarily that are in doubt here.
Absolutely.
In game number 3. See how this plays out, because again, if we talked about the ramifications here. Lane 7 there.
5-7-10
was standing.
All collapsed.
Yeah.
We're standing at the same time, and they all went down almost simultaneously. Boy, that was something to behold from Brady Null of Denham Springs. Crazy looking shot. That's a wow. All I can say about that shot. Double to start the game for Cade Chatelain, who continues to bowl brilliantly for Brother Martin.
So with the action underway on lanes 1 through 4, we'll focus there. With the lanes action now underway on lanes 13 to 16, we'll focus there. Check in on the other ones perhaps occasionally, but again, the 2 matches that are in doubt are the ones on the outside pairs, 1 to 4, 19 or 13 to 16.
West and Beam both strike to open the 3rd game for Dutchtown, and they're the ones to watch because they can put up the scores and really do it. And for Jesuit, they've got to win the low pair. They didn't do that in the second game. They did in the first game.
And that's their strength.
That's right.
That is their strength. They've got averages of 182, 179, 174 compared to Dutchtown, 168, 155, 132. So that's a big difference.
Good looking strike delivered there for Jesuit in the 2 spot. Well delivered shot there by Preston Rourke. a 9-pin there for Jesuit. In the 3 spot, Jonathan Cho unable to carry, leaving the 9-pin. So you get a close match like that. Yeah, strikes matter, but spares will separate the teams in a close match.
You see Justin Smith on lane 4 on the left side of your screen there, leaving a big split, the 4-6-7. He'll get 2.
And that's imperative to get to in those situations.
You know, especially that was on a spare. If you're on a strike, 2 pins is worth 4. So
gets the job done as we scan. And a good start for Sanoma in game 3 on the low pair. They've got a couple of doubles right away to open up leads. So the momentum certainly with the Gators in that match, much like it was with the Griffins in the other match against Jesuit. So Alenado with a strike. He gets a double. Again, the ball change really benefited him after scuffling the first game. He's come on very strong in the anchor position for Brother Martin. Jesuit low pairs fill the boxes in all but 1 through 2 frames. And again, that's low pair. That's how you win.
Yeah, and look at the opens for Dutchtown on the low pair.
Correct.
So they have 1.
And
3 is
spare.
tight, but they've got nice leads already at 1 and 2.
Yeah, nice spare for Jesuit again.
Because again, they've got to not only win, they've got to make up 44 pins. So
Jesuit does, yes.
Yeah, that's gets in a little bit different situation with a little bit different
and West
margin.
And,
yeah,
West and Carpenter both have doubles to start in the 6th spot in that matchup.
Right. Now, Rummel St. Amant, we saw this last Monday with the Brother Martin Shaw match, as we mentioned. When it's 2 pins, total pins, okay, you can effectively say that whoever wins total pins for this is going to get 5 points. You're going to get the total. You're going to get 2 pins of total for the game, and you're probably going to win the super total. So that's 3 more. The only way it wouldn't happen that way is if it was, something crazy that maybe, I mentioned St. Amant's up by 2. Maybe Rummel wins by 1 or Rummel wins by 2 or something like that. It's about the only way that doesn't come into play. But for the most part, it's all based on
West opens
pins.
with a triple and Carpenter splits.
Big split.
So there's
there.
a big swing there
that's
for
a 2-8-10. That's not easily picked up.
That's a nice swing for Dutchtown early in that match.
Denise Vidros going to her bench here is no surprise with the match pretty well in hand. Yep. Bruce Hember made 1 substitution here in the game 3, going to one of his freshmen, Gavin Cardoza, in the 2 spot. Buffkin staying in the 1 spot, I believe, and Nunez staying in the 3.
Jean-Paul Bowie bowling for Archbishop Shaw now.
And he's in at 3, so they've gotten some of the. He was actually in at 1 the last game, so he's in at 3. He's got going to some even younger bowlers on that right side. Arena is in at 6, so Elwood is out.
Double wood spare for Dutchtown. That's important. Really good stroke there. And that's well done for Archbishop Shaw as they've got that match locked up. Back to Jesuit Dutchtown now. As mentioned, West has the front 3, but now their 4-hole bowler has a double as well. So the Griffins looking good.
He's been outstanding
Braden
today.
Torres.
Yeah, Braden Torres, again, coming in with a 181 average. Had that big game, too.
So Rummel in the 5 spot as a 3-bagger. Same young man that bowled a really good 228 game last game. And that's Blake Kerr, who's bowled well for the Raiders. And it's not just about winning matches there, it's about pins. You could conceivably, with a match that close, win only 2 points in the game and still win with 14 if you win total.
Sure.
So when you see somebody stringing strikes, for instance, that's going to build quite a bit of.
Yeah, again, like how many times did we talk about it in the last game? How many ways were there to get to 4 points for Brother Martin in the last game of that championship match a year ago?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Jesuit needs to be able to get to 7, okay? Because they're trailing 9-7 in this match. Now, pretty much, if you're going to win 7 points, chances are you're going to flip total pins in the process. So in reality, you need to do it with some. You need to take some kind of command in total. Obviously, you're going to get the two, four total pins.
Well, Santa Ma's up in 4, even in 1, and Rummel's up in 1. So a good start for the Gators in this game, in Game 3, with that one on the line.
Yeah, but a big
and a chop spear for Jesuit won't help.
But that big lead already at number 5 right now, which will help the total pin situation. Again, you got to look. If we talk about it, it's when you've got a tight match like that, it's basically all about total pins. It's the individual matches. We talk about it that way, and we showed you the format at the outset that there's 18 individual matches. But if it gets down to it at the end and it's very tight and it's very tight for total, you throw all of that out the window and basically total pins is what matters. And you see there in lane 17, it looks like a 2-10 split remaining for Carpenter.
Yeah, they're Jesuit struggling a bit in this game early on.
About to finish from 9 out. So.
Meanwhile, his opponent.
Check that. That's a 2-10 split for Adams.
Yes.
At number 5.
Right, and he missed both pins. Dutchtown, meanwhile, is strung, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 strikes in a row right now. Everybody on at least 3 on that right side.
So Griffin's clearly establishing the advantage here in Game 3 to try to win that match over Jesuit. And again, Jesuit was the highest power ranked team coming into this event at number 6. Dutchtown was number 13. But once again, when you have those bottom 2 bowlers, which Dutchtown has,
they can.
That is going to compile a lot of pins moving forward.
Split for West on lane 16.
Boy,
farthest right on your screen there. 6-8 in the pocket. So.
Oh my! That's when you overpower the pins, and a triple for Jesuit in the 3 spot, which they really need. That's Jonathan Cho again.
And look, they've got a lead by 22 at number 1. They've got a lead by 22 at number 2. And they've got a lead by 22 at number 3.
But they're getting, Dutchtown's pounding Jesuit on the high pair.
They are.
So, again, it's a trade-off, and we said from the beginning.
Although Jesuit has taken the lead at 4, so they're losing at 5 and they're losing at 6.
And an open frame for West.
Yeah, we'll go 9 out. He's got 116 through 5 and a 33-pin lead in that one. A lot to keep an eye on right there.
No doubt.
Right side is slowed down a little bit. I don't know if they had a lane issue or whatever, but it's the left side is now a good frame ahead of the right pair in that Rummel-St. Amant match.
Yeah, it's about filling boxes for Santa Ma and for Archbishop Rummel. Another open frame for the Raiders with a split in the 4 spot where they are trailing. Now we'll get a look at Kerr, who's had 3 in a row. He bowled a really good game last game, 228, 229 last game, and off to a real good start this game for the Raiders. And he just struck again. Wow, pounded the pocket and struck. So 4 in a row for Kerr. Good looking shot.
One of the things that, let's say, is quirky, but it can fall that way sometimes is if it comes down to it at the end, it might be your number 3 bowler bowling the last shot if the right side happens to finish first. Now, in this case, at least in the Rummel-St. Amant match, the left side's ahead of the right side, so it's poised that the right side
Good
would
shot
finish
by
first.
Fletcher.
Yep.
He left the 4-pin. Justin Smith in the 4 spot. Rummel with another split, back-to-back splits. So that's going to hurt their cause.
9 out there.
Carpenter leaves a 4-pin for Jesuit.
3 splits in the last 4 frames. And now we'll see Kerr come up.
And they really need to ride him at this point because of pins, as you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you got to, you can talk about it. Total, the
Two-hander.
individual match goes high, loses
Went high,
6-10.
6-10, yeah. Now Jesuit in Dutchtown. Dutchtown's got a really good 5 spot going right now.
Yeah.
In the 5 hole, they're really bowling well.
Big lead, though, for Jesuit at 1, up by 42.
Well, big lead
And
at
a
5.
huge lead at 2 as well, up by 34. And then at number 3, putting together 4 consecutive strikes, that is Cho. And he leads that match right now by 38. So that's about a 100-pin edge on the right side, on the left side.
Dutchtown's got a big lead at 5.
Okay.
So
that offsets it a little bit.
Yeah, that's Ryan Beam, of course.
Now again, if Jesuit, and of course the lead at 6 as well. So at 33, and then let's call it, what is that? Looks like maybe 70 at number 5. So that's
that
that's about 100 pins right there.
And 4 spot could be a big match because neither bowler is really shooting that well right now.
Right.
And spares are important, and
another
missed spare for Jesuit.
And another strike for Cho at number 5. Or number 3, I'm sorry.
Jesuit had a chance to make up pins at 4 and missed a 1-pin spare after an open frame by Dutchtown at 4. So again, as said before, when you get in these close matches, spares will win it for you. They will win it for you every time. It's the open frames that dig the hole and make it difficult for you. Kerr, of course, converted his spare, and then Fletcher struck for Rummel. Fletcher's down by 1 at the 6 spot against Santa Ma's number 6 bowler, Austin Kirby. And that's a 1-pin match.
Ten-pin lead there on lane 16 for Ryan Beam.
Spare for Jesuit. Yeah, that's got the makings of being very close at the end.
Yeah, this could come right down to the wire, exactly.
4-pin there. That's in the 4 spot?
That's the
one spot.
The 1 spot.
A significant lead. Just got to make spares if you want to maintain a solid lead in that particular matchup.
And now the lead is 62 at number 2, and it's getting even bigger. It's now 59 at number 3. So for all those margins at 5 and 6, Jesuit at 1, 2, 3 is more than made up for.
Open frame for Dutchtown at 5. So things are tightening there.
Could not convert the single pin spare. This is going right down to the wire.
Really is. Another missed spare by Jesuit. So both sides missing spares, and that starts to suggest some pressure there when both sides know.
It's a grind. There's no doubt about it. Hey, look, you talk about pressure. You can practice all you want at this game. But when it comes down to having to make pressure shots, how do you handle it?
There's a trip 4. That should be a 3-bagger in the 2 spot for Jesuit.
Yep.
So that's important.
That adds 10 to that lead.
No doubt about it. Again, their low pair. That's Preston Rourke, which will get him to Jonathan Cho, who's got the 5-bagger right now as they build some real serious pin advantage, which they need down 44.
Yeah, they're down 44, and to make up what's going on at 5 and 6 as well. So
here's Cho, and
high, 3-6.
Well, he got an 8 count, which is better. Decent outcome considering. Dutchtown marks in every frame on the low pair that time around. So Dutchtown leading on the high pair, Jesuit on the low pair. The question is, by how much? In a 9-7 match. Meanwhile, I have to check out the low pair for Rummel and Santa Ma. Can't really see it from here. Santa Ma had the edge earlier.
Big score on the up top there, I believe. Yeah, number 1, but that is for Santa Ma with a big score going there.
A double for Rummel in the 3 spot. I can spot that. That's Devin Shira.
Yeah, that's
Fletcher, meanwhile, through the nose split.
Big split.
That's going to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It'll be down in his match now. At 6, sent him on a good position there.
Smith will convert the spare at 4.
But he's down by 20-some-odd pins.
Yeah.
Again, when you split like this, you got to get the count. Make sure you get the 2
Yeah.
in that situation so you don't
Yeah.
bury yourself.
And again, this is.
Or 3, I should say.
This is, and again,
So
I
it's
repeat,
technically a washout,
it is
what
all,
I call it.
right, it is all about total pins.
Yeah.
It is all about total pins right now. The individual matches don't mean what they would normally mean.
Stone 10-pin from Kerr. Couldn't throw a better shot. Really needed that, too. I mean, he made a perfect shot. On a strike, that was really a big shot for him and for Rummel. But he's bowled very well. There's another big split for Jesuit. Carpenter right through the nose. That's like a 4-pin split, or maybe even 5.
Meanwhile, West struck in the 8th.
Again, the low pair for Jesuit is their salvation. Cho just struck.
Let's get a look at what the scores are there.
Miss
Graphics
spare
come
for
up
Dutchtown.
after every shot. You got to wait
Right.
for those to clear. Jesuit is up 20 at number 1. And they're on pace for well above 200 at number 2 and number 3. They've got an 82-pin lead at 2. And they've got a 57-pin lead, make it a 58-pin lead at number 3.
But
so
struggling,
that is, yeah.
struggling mightily on the high pair, though.
Yeah. Can they? Yeah, they're going to win the 3 on the right side, and they're certainly in position to win total. Can they win total by enough?
Yeah, I don't know. With the right
to,
side,
yeah, to
being as it
overcome
is.
the margin, because that's what needs to happen. Because again, if Dutchtown wins at 5 and 6 and wins total, super total, I should say, that's enough to get them to 14.
That's a win for Dutchtown. Correct.
Meanwhile, the match at number 4 is very tight as well, and that may end up being
Swing match.
enormous. Yeah.
There's a good shot there. Should have been a strike, I believe, for Jesuit, and I believe that was the case. Yep. That was in the 5 spot for a double for the Blue Jays.
That's William Adams.
Yep.
Strike at 1 for Jesuit. Ethan Benoit is closing out that match at 1. We mentioned Jesuit is going to sweep the low side. Came into this game trailing by 44 after winning the first game by 114. Dutchtown not only won 7 of 8 points, but flipped the total in the second game.
Spare conversion for Jesuit. That was Carpenter. That won't be a strike. That might be a 9 count for Jesuit, I believe.
So West with a chance to shoot 245 at the 6 spot.
Just a ho-hum game for him, right?
Yeah, right. That's what he does.
Pretty special.
At 5:04 for the first 2, so he's got a chance to shoot.
It looked like a double.
750.
Looked like a double in the 1 spot for Dutchtown. That's huge. Yep. That's a big double when you're closing in the 10th frame in a close match. And that's Torres, who's had a good day.
Oh, at 4.
Yep, at 4.
And that's, let's see, that might have won that match. Let's see, that might have won the match at 4.
Which would be huge, because that was competitive. Now he's about to close it out.
Which again now basically means if that happens, if Dutchtown wins 4, the only way for Jesuit to win the match is to flip total. They've got to keep things close enough to win the super total.
Don't know that they're throwing enough strikes to do that. A 9 count at 2 spot. Wiggle 7, didn't get it.
I mean, this is going to be a big edge on the left side. The question is, how big is it?
How big is it?
Cho's got a chance to strike out for 247 in his game.
Needs all the pins it can get, because that would give them 4 points with the 3 low pair points. And then it becomes total, as you've said continuously. And a missed 7 pin for Jesuit. Meanwhile, we look at the.
Let me just tell you, the one of the things that's quirky here, as opposed to what we used to see back home, is the monitors switch sides with every frame, and it's
makes it difficult.
It does. It makes it. I mean, you see the V's and the H's, but your eyes go.
Care, by the way, with a double, but a three-bagger now for Sanoma and the 6th spot, and that's Kirby.
Yeah, but Care can strike out for 258. And again, we talk about total pins. That
and there's a 5-7 for Fletcher. That'll bury him. He's not going to win that match. So Sanoma will win at 6, and then pins are valuable.
Got to get everything you can get.
Sanoma reaction there.
All right, so Dutchtown wins its 4.
Fair for Carpenter.
The question's going to be, what is going to be the margin here?
Fair for Adams, too. So.
Show is up on lane 13. Let's see just how much he can do here.
Wow, a messenger 10 there for Dutchtown and a big reaction in a 200 game. Down on the wire here with 2 matches. Archbishop Shaw and Brother Martin have won their matches. Archbishop Shaw defeating Central, Brother Martin defeating Denham Springs as they extend congratulations to each other all around. And today's action on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Quick Lane services all makes and models, batteries, tires, oil changes, and more. All done quickly while you enjoy some popcorn. Must be a reason.
All right, Ken, so Dutchtown, or rather Jesuit, won the low pair, winning all 3 by 172 pins. But, which would give them a 128-pin lead, but Dutchtown's going to overcome it on the other side.
That's what I've been saying.
Yep, not enough. Simply not enough. And
Dutchtown will win total, and they will win the match.
Right, so they're going to hold on to super total. I think Jesuit's going to win total for the game and win it 5-3. So this is likely to end up a 15-12 match.
For Dutchtown.
Right. We'll confirm that. Now we've got there's one more shot to come here for West and for Carpenter to finish that up.
And West, of course, is punching out, which enhanced their pin's edge here. As we watch him close it out here. Bang.
245 for West, and that is a 749 series, I believe.
Very impressive. Good strike here for Jesuit. Pressure off at that stage. Needed a bigger game on the high pair. Blue Jays didn't get it.
Yeah.
And Dutchtown's big bowler comes through. And they come through on the high pair consistently. We said that before the match. It was going to be all about the low pair for Jesuit, the high pair for Dutchtown. And it certainly turned out to be that way. And we'll double check those scores, and then we'll try to get you the final result of Sanoma and Rummel as well. This could very well end up being a split between the New Orleans area teams and the Baton Rouge area teams here today, which would only be appropriate for us bringing you this action. And glad to do so from Gonzalez, Ken Trahan, along with Lenny Van Gilder. Always a pleasure to be able to bring this to you and enjoying the process of doing so, as we always is. And let's see what we end up with both of these matches. We'll get those results. Lenny Van Gilder checking everything as we speak, and we'll make sure that we get you the final results, both matches. But it looks like Dutchtown has emerged victorious against Jesuit. Official numbers forthcoming. Mentioned Brother Martin a winner over Denham Springs, and Archbishop Shaw a winner over Central. And their matchups here today, the Rummel-Sanoma match going down to the wire, and we'll certainly provide the outcome of that one to you coming up here shortly as well, as soon as we bring you the totals from the Dutchtown Jesuit match to finalize that for you. As we wind things down at Premier Lanes, Ben Gonzalez. Preston West certainly showing what he's all about, what he's capable of. Just a terrific bowler, tremendous scoring ability, and could very well be the high average bowler in the state by the time we're done. Certainly would appear to be on track to accomplish that. Very impressive. on his part. Chatelaine was really good for Brother Martin today. And we saw some good otherwise performances here this afternoon, too. Archbishop Shaw was solid, and we saw Garrett Alello, Jonathan Arena really bowl well for the Eagles as well in that victory over Central. And as mentioned, really good job for Brother Martin by Kate Chatelaine. In particular, really bowled well for them here.
690 for Cade.
Yep.
656 for Jacob Van Gilder. 646 for Ashton Catalanato. 1992 on the high side. By the way, Dutchtown's high side shot 2054. And the final in that
needed pins, and guess what? Kerr struck out and shot 258.
Yeah, that got it. But the problem is that everything else went in the other direction. It's a 7-1 Santa Ma win in the final game.
So,
It'll be a
we'll have a split here today.
Final. Yep.
17-10 Gators over the Raiders. Santa Ma defeats Rummel, and 15-12 Dutchtown over Jesuit is the final. So, hey, we get an even Steven matchup here. This is great to see this transpire today between these two outstanding areas and two outstanding cities of Baton Rouge and New Orleans area in particular, and really good job on both ends from these two different areas, and they'll of course see each other down the road, and this will have some degree of impact on the power rankings too, which are certain to be impacted by what we saw here this afternoon. Very impressive. Really good job by Santa Ma to come back from a 6-2 deficit to win. Really good job by Dutchtown to come back from their first game deficit to win as well. The drama was out of it in the other two matches. Archbishop Shaw and Brother Martin dominated from the start in their victory. So two pretty one-sided matches and two very competitive matches as it turns out.
Yeah, Brother Martin a winner 21-6, and let's see what the final ends up here in this final match ongoing between Archbishop Shaw and Central. They're in the 10th frame on the high pair. They're in the 9th frame, or I should say the 8th frame on the low pair. Right now, again, Shaw had the match clinched after 2 with a 14-2 lead no matter what happened. So we will get those.
Yeah, good job by Santa Ma to finish it off against Rummel and get it done. 6-hole bowler for Santa Ma, shoots 210. Austin Kirby, very good performance to get the victory. And again, this is Baton Rouge home turf, if you will.
Yeah, well, certainly for the Ascension Parish schools who bowl here. Dutchtown bowls here. Santa Ma bowls here. Denham Springs coming over for this one. Central coming over for this one. But they bowl road matches here. Of course, this is the one time a year that the New Orleans area schools will come up here in the regular season.
Which is important since they'll be here for the playoffs and finals later on.
Fortunate enough to get, you get 3 wins together. It certainly helps the cause to be able to have this match under your belt.
So we're going to stay with you till the match is complete here, because the low pair for Shaw and Central a little bit behind. They're still in the 9th frame. We want to give you the final numbers. The high pair just concluding as we speak, and a good finish for Shaw in the 6th spot. The Eagles getting a good finish here, but that's expected. He's a good player, as we said throughout, and that's Riley, who continues to do the job.
That's actually Arena now having
it's Arena bowling.
Yeah, he slid down. Yeah, Elwood came out for this game. So
Elwood came out.
Arena was, solid in the 5 spot, moved down, and so they shuffled things a bit. Again, you can do that when you've got match in hand with a big lead there. So,
yeah, the total won't look as overwhelming for Shaw because they substituted in Game 3. They had it wrapped up after 2 games. They'll win a couple of matches here. They'll win in the 1 spot, will the Eagles, and they'll win in the 6th spot.
Yeah, you see the scores now updated on the 3 final matches there. The one still in progress, Shaw against Central in lanes 9 through 12. We'll wait and see how that plays out. But again, Santa Ma winner.
Closing things out here as the high pair is now almost concluded. One more shot to be made by Arena.
High pair. Arena's going to have a chance to strike for 225 on the right-hand pair there.
Good experience for Archbishop Shaw bowlers to have a chance to bowl here. They wouldn't have had the opportunity otherwise.
And look, they've got a great chance to be back here in 6 weeks.
Yep.
A great chance. We talked about their depth and their experience, for that matter, with 5 returning starters a year from a team that got to the semis a year ago.
And Arena throws a 9 count. So shoots 224. Shaw will win 2 of these 6 matches. So they'll end up with, 21 points overall. 14 after 2, they win 2, that's 16, they get 5.
They'll get, well, depends on total here, which is...
well, they'll win total.
Well, the total for the game.
The total for the game, you're right.
They're up 18.
Yep.
And 50. Total's actually in the balance here.
Very close.
Yeah, it's a 3 pins right now as it stands. So.
Yeah, the open frames, but another open frame here. Yeah. Each of the 1 bowlers with an open frame. So what happens in the 2 and 3 spots, but you got to strike up.
Exactly. They both got marks for Central. That's an advantage right now. It could be a situation where Central would win total, and then they would, if it ends up 6-2, then that turns this into 19-8.
Watch this shot right here. A strike up. This could be a winning for total pins if Central can double here. 9 count. Each side with a 9 count, so who's going to make spares? That's what happens in a very close match, as we say all the time.
Yeah, so Shaw winning the high side by 18 pins. So basically you need to stay within 17 on this side if you're Shaw to
get
try
a
to
spare.
win.
And both spare, both make the 9 pin. So they need to stay within 17, you said?
Within 17. We'll see how it plays out here. Central
right now
currently
it's 25.
up 25.
Yes.
But they've also got the mark in hand
Correct.
at the number 3 spot as well.
So Central right now with the slight edge.
So basically it probably takes, at this point, it takes a double from Shaw's number
count.
3, and it takes an open from Central's number 3.
Pin
All depends on
pin count important, a 7 count
no doubt.
versus a 9 count. So that's 2 more pins.
Right, and that will make
27.
it now, 27. So that gives Central a 9-pin lead, and
ringing 10
pin. That might do it. That might do it there, and allow Central to win total here in Game 3, which would end up make it 19-8. Is that right? Yeah.
That sounds right. Yep.
Yeah.
19-8.
Yeah. Shaw's winning at 1 and winning at 6.
Yep. They win 2 matches.
And they will win the super
total. They're up
total.
14-2, and they'll win the super total. So they'll give them 19. That's an 8 count on the spare, and Shaw misses the spare, so that does it. So Central will win the total pins in this game to make it a 19-8 final. In the final match here, we'll double check those numbers to make sure we got the scores correct. We don't want to give you anything inaccurate before we leave you here this afternoon from Gonzales. So checking that out as we speak, to be able to bring you the proper response. So again, victories for Brother Martin and Archbishop Shaw from the New Orleans side, and from the Baton Rouge side, victories for Sanama and Dutchtown here this evening. Things concluding here. And we get some final numbers coming at us here momentarily. And final numbers as we project these.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
19-8.
Yeah, 19-8 is the final.
So victory here for Archbishop Shaw. And the 2 sides split the 4 matches here this afternoon. Of course, you can always watch the replay here at CrescentCitySports.com and the coverage provided to you. And we'll have much more coverage from bowling as we progress throughout the course of the season. All right, Lenny, some thoughts about what we saw here today?
Well, I think what we saw is there's a pretty good amount of balance here. And, and obviously I think there was a big edge to the teams who bowl in this center regularly. And they were able to prevail in some tight matches. And I think that, home lane's advantage certainly helped the cause there. And kudos to Brother Martin and Shaw to put their matches away pretty quickly.
Yeah, took the drama out of it quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I think everyone is going to be better. We talked about these 8 schools. All won their first-round matches a year ago. We're in the final 16.
Yeah.
And as a result, you know, they know what it takes to win in the playoffs. And I think today will help them whether you were on the winning side or on the losing side. And we talked about maybe there might be an edge for somebody in terms of how it would help power points and that kind of thing. Well, maybe not, okay, because we end up with 2 wins for New Orleans, 2 wins for Baton Rouge, as I think you see your finals there. Let's wait and get our final populated there. The final score is 19-8 Shaw.
So in retrospect, no real surprises here. Dutchtown not quite as high in the power rankings as Jesuit, but not a surprise. They won it all with their power at the bottom of their lineup. And Jesuit did not perform as well in Game 3 as they could have to be able to give themselves a chance to win that one. So, and other than that, the Santa Monica Rummel figured to be pretty even. And
it turned out to be exactly that way, yeah.
So, and then the other 2 matches really kind of turned out the way they projected in terms of what we expected from a paper perspective. So some final thoughts here this afternoon from Gonzalez. Again, the thought process is that, you know, this was good stuff. You had 2 and 2, and you had teams that performed kind of the way you thought they would perform overall.
Yeah. And, you know, they'll all go back to bowling predominantly within their regions the rest of the way. We'll see how the rest of the regular season plays out. Again, Selection Monday is a month from today. And, you know, I got a feeling we'll see a lot of these teams deep into the playoffs, maybe even facing off again. And perhaps, who knows, maybe we'll see some of these matchups right here in this center when we get down to the Final 4 on both the boys and the girls side on March 30th.
Sound like a plan, Lenny. Appreciate it very much.
Oh, thank you.
Want to credit our crew here today before we sign off?
Absolutely. Matt Merritt, Todd Whittington, Matt Fanguy. Bring us all the pictures here this afternoon is something, again, you know, we stayed pretty much split screen just about the entire day there to show you as much action as we possibly could around the 4 matches, just moving back and forth, and hope you enjoyed kind of what we call our whip around coverage of high school bowling. Of course, when we get to the finals, there's just one match going on, and you focus on that, and that'll be, you know, a lot of fun to watch come, you know, March 30th and 31st, no doubt.
Without a doubt. For Lenny Van Gilder, I'm Ken Trahan saying thanks for joining us this afternoon, and be a good sport. From Crescent City Sports